Mothman, one of America's most mysterious and unsolved conspiracies. A Mothman is said to be a creature that is the size of a human and has sleek, dark gray fur, along with a 10-foot wingspan. Some also say that it can fly at amazing speeds and has extraordinary strength. This story of the Mothman first started in the 60s in West Virginia and is still even told by people today. Some people have chosen to look deeper into the story and have even linked it to our very own government.
The conspiracy theory itself questions Mothman's existence and whether or not it is a simple tale told by people to keep their children tucked in at night, or is there something deeper? Many people believe that Mothman is really a genetic abomination made by the US government that they have been keeping secret for years.
To figure out this conspiracy, we must first go back to the beginning. It's nighttime, November 12th, 1966, in West Virginia. 5 cemetery workers are digging a grave when they suddenly spot what they would describe as a gray human being flying through the night sky above. The workers reported what they had seen to the local authorities, who just told them that it must have been a bird or shadow in the sky, and that was nothing to worry about.
They believed that the situation was settled, but just 3 days after that initial report, in nearby Point Pleasant, West Virginia, a group of couples noticed a winged creature about 6 or 7 feet tall standing in front of their car while they were out driving one night. The creature then proceeded to chase down the group of couples in their car, going at least 100 miles per hour. Roger Scarberry and Steve Mallet, who were one of the couples involved, told the local paper about what had happened and described the creature. They said that it had bright red eyes about 6 inches apart and a wingspan of over 10 feet. This description was very close to the one that the cemetery workers had reported just a few nights before.
More and more sightings were coming up all over West Virginia within the next year of these sightings. Over the short span of 3 days, there were even more than 8 incidents reported. The stories spanned from simple sightings in the sky to interference with one man's television, who said that upon investigation, he was greeted with 2 beating red eyes outside his house in the darkness. His dog also went missing that night after it ran off into the darkness after the red eyes. The following night, someone else had reported to the police that they saw the corpse of a large dog on the side of the road, and when they had turned around to investigate, the body was gone. The man who had lost the dog later said that he knew somehow that that must have been his dog, although there was no evidence to support this assumption.
But by far the most extreme sighting of Mothman was after the collapse of the Silver Bridge in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. This tragic event ended up killing more than 40 people, causing everyone to kind of forget about Mothman. However, a witness did describe seeing a winged man atop the bridge shortly before it collapsed into the Ohio River below. It was later deemed by the welding company who oversaw the bridge's construction to have been caused by bad welding, which caused many people to question what had really happened, and they started to wonder if someone was trying to get them to forget about Mothman.
Preceding the collapse of the bridge, men dressed in all black suits were reported to be walking around town and questioning people. They claimed to be part of government agencies, but no one had ever heard of these government agencies that they were claiming to be part of. Some of the people they questioned, they even tried to pull into their cars. These men would later be termed to be the Men in Black.
A woman named Mary Heyer was one of the major reporters of Mothman, and around the time that these Men in Black started showing up around Point Pleasant, a lot of weird stuff started happening to Mary, like her office was being broken into, and her mail was even intercepted. She would even get visits from these Men in Black, who'd attempt to persuade her to stop publishing her articles through either talking to her or threatening her.
Another major character in this conspiracy theory was author John Keel. Keel had been investigating Mothman for years, and would go on to write his book, The Mothman Prophecies, which would later inspire the 2002 film with the same title.
Keel compiled information from the many reports of Mothman and the creature's description. That information that Keel brought together started to reveal just a tiny portion of the mystery behind Mothman. But in that tiny portion, Keel made one of the greatest discoveries in the Mothman legacy, and that was the location of Mothman's birthplace.
McClintock Wildlife Management Area, otherwise known as the TNT area, is a rundown World War II munitions plant, which had been noted to still have active explosive around the grounds during the 60s. There had been many reports of strange things happening in this area, such as multiple explosions and other strange noises being heard late at night. Keel concluded that the US government must have had something here, such as a secret facility, and that was perhaps where the Mothman was created.
Shortly after drawing connections between Mothman and the TNT area, more and more tourists and conspiracy theorists snuck onto the grounds to investigate for themselves. Even the locals of Point Pleasant headed up to the TNT area with guns loaded, ready to take out Mothman. So many, in fact, that the National Guard had to come in to keep the property clear of civilians because there were still active explosives littered all over the area.
Recently, there has even been more reports of Mothman. Russian UFOologists reported spotting Mothman shortly before the 1999 Russian apartment bombing, which ended up killing more than 300 people. Mothman sightings in the city of Chicago have also been brought up, with more than 40 reports during 2017. In Germany, workers said that shortly before a shift of theirs, they came face to face with a strange creature, which made them run away from the mines. Shortly afterwards, the mines ended up blowing up for unknown reasons. The witnesses from all these reports would describe whatever they had seen to be a creature with large red eyes and a large set of wings.
The Mothman has become such a major interest that in 2005, a Mothman Museum was opened. It's located in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, near the very spots of the first Mothman sightings, and has a variety of merchandise, historical documents, and even a large Mothman statue outside. Many tourists are attracted to this site, and they even celebrate an annual Mothman festival in the downtown of Point Pleasant. There are even new video games that have Mothman in it, like Fallout 76.
The legend of Mothman has clearly made its mark on the people of West Virginia as well as the world, but there are many unanswered questions in this conspiracy theory. Is this Mothman creature really made by the US government for devious reasons, or is it just a story inflated by the people? Were the accidents linked to the Mothman really ever true? Who were the men in black? Were they sent by the US government to snuff out any rumors of the Mothman? Whatever the truth behind it is, just know that if you're ever out late at night and see a pair of glowing red eyes looking at you from the darkness, it's most likely the Mothman, and you should probably run.